This is Mark Brennae on CFAX1070.
Doing the Billy Idol pumping of the fist. More! The Westshore Rebels are playing some very exciting football. A win over the Langley Rams tomorrow would all but wrap up first place for the Rebels, and this is a heck of a journey for this organization, which just a couple of years ago was really struggling. This week, the team named a new GM to give head coach J.C. Boyce a bit of a break. He's been doing both jobs. That GM is a gentleman who is within the organization. He's the current vice president of operations for the Westshore Rebels. I give you, ladies and gentlemen, Jonathan Poppitt. Hello, Jonathan.
Hello.
Thanks so much.
Mark.
Thanks so much for taking the time.
Yeah, no problem.
Tell us the difference between what your new job will be as the GM and the role that you previously had, which was vice president of operations.
I guess the biggest difference is that the vice president role was more of a executive role, and now continuing that role, obviously, but also now getting down to the game day, just the ground level with all the kids and the coaches, and being a little more involved in the day-to-day operations with the team.
Now, you've got an extensive football background, and you come from football country, Edmonton. You played for the Huskies out there. So obviously you've got a good pedigree here. You know your football stuff, and I can go through all your resume, but trust me, folks, this guy's got it stacked. You're also the executive director of local football, right?
Yeah, I'm currently the president of the Greater Victoria Minor Football.
President of the Minor Football. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so what do you think, with your background and knowledge of how it works in Alberta, how are we doing here with respect to growing young athletes, football players here in Victoria?
I think, it's football is growing quite well right now. There was a bit of a lull there a few years ago, and we saw registration dropping, and we've worked really hard to turn that around. I think the popularity of the Rebels and the Lions and the Seahawks and all that is starting to bring the focus back to football. Football's had some tough times with the concussion things and that type of stuff. So we've done a real good job of mitigating those type of injuries and just teaching the kids how to properly tackle and just trying to play safe. Really is what our goal ultimately is to be. As far as compared to Alberta, I'll be honest, I didn't grow up in the minor football sense. I didn't start playing football until high school, so it's hard for me to compare minor football. But my two boys are in it right now, and they're diehards. I'm coaching 2 seasons a year for them, and they're just loving it. So, what position did you play when you were in high school and when you were with the Huskies? Cornerback, right? No. What did you say? Quarterback or corner?
Corner.
Corner. Yeah. No, I played corner out there on an island, and I was a heck of a lot faster then than I am now. So.
Yeah, weren't we all? And your sons, what positions do they play?
My one son plays on the defensive line and the offensive line, and then they're twins, but they're very different sized and shaped kids. And my other son plays running back and linebacker.
Gotcha. Okay, playing both ways, that guy. Okay, let's get into the team right now. Having a heck of a season. Pretty much first place if you guys can win on the weekend tomorrow in Langley. You guys are playing. You guys are 6-1-1. Langley is 6-2. You guys meet tomorrow at 4:00 in Langley. How many games left, and what are the chances of you guys coming out with first place?
This is the second to last game of the season. So we have our final home game against Kamloops the following week from Saturday out at West Hill. So encourage everybody to get out there, and it'll be a good way to finish out the season. And as far as the game tomorrow, we have an amazing chance of winning. We beat them in the first game of the season here in Victoria. And sorry, my phone's beeping. we got the best running game in the league. We got an amazing quarterback in Ashton, who is just a beast, and can throw the ball a mile. And I think that I was looking at some of the reporters there, and they all kind of booked us as the underdogs, and that's okay. We don't mind coming in there as the underdogs.
You guys are the underdogs in this game.
Well, that's what they're saying. That's what some of the media are saying.
I'm surprised at that.
The print media.
Yeah.
But last week's game, we had a lot of guys sick. They had a bit of a cold and flu bug kind of go through the team, and that in a locker room that can go through there like wildfire. So, but at the end of the day, their back stiffened up, and they came back and tied it up and came away with at least a tie. That's a big tie because that put us in first place, and is an important point going into the last two games of the season. We like you said, we win this game here against the Rams, and we're pretty much guaranteed first place. We just still have to finish things out for the season, but it looks pretty good from that point on. And the Rams and Okanagan, they play each other in the last game of the season. So there's a lot of different scenarios here, but we're hoping for the right one to have home field advantage throughout the playoffs.
Well, good luck with that. I'm looking at the statistics here, and this is going to be a big game. I love when this happens, when you've got the top offense versus the top defense. Listen to this, folks. The Rebels are averaging 463 yards per game. That's astounding. But the Rams are really good defensively. They're averaging only 252 yards against per game. So something's got to give.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and that's the beauty of football. I mean, it's offense against defense, and we have a pretty stout defense as well. And don't be surprised if we hold them to very few points this game. And I think we ran on the first game. We ran over 300 yards on them or something like that. So we got a pretty good running tandem in Jamal and Trey. And so I see those guys on the field, and they're beasts, they're tanks. They're huge guys. So
well, it's going to be a great game. Back to your new job as the GM. Well, I know it's not your new job, but per se, I know you got a thriving cabinet company here in Vic. But JC, he must be. This must be good for JC Boyce, because he's been the head coach and the GM, doing not everything, but doing a lot. So this will sort of give him a little bit of a breather, I take it, right? You'll take a little bit of his work off his plate.
Yeah, I mean, the whole goal of this change was to let JC focus on the coaching staff and focus on the players and the game and the field, which is that's where we want him to focus, and take away some of the off-field distractions and all the other things that go along with junior football. Junior football is not an easy slog for these guys. They'll have to have jobs, and they have to work, and then they have to go to football practice and repeat, and every day of the week, and then games on the weekend, and so. To be the general manager who has to try and manage all that and help these guys, find jobs and find billets and for the out of town guys, and this just takes a huge load off of his plate. I wish I could have came in sooner to help him out, but just the way things work out, that this is where we're at, and we'll be building for the future as we go into the playoffs, and then into next season.
Well, listen, good luck tomorrow, 4:00 in Langley. It's the Langley Rams, the home team. They're 6-2, and you guys, the Westshore Rebels, 6-1-1. A victory pretty much guarantees first place. Either way, you're going to the playoffs, which is great. We congratulate you on your new position there, and we congratulate you guys on having a great season. Jonathan, good luck tomorrow.
Thanks, Mark. It's great to have to be on the show with you.
Okay, we'll do it again.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, great. Bye-bye. There he goes. That is Jonathan Poppitt, who is the GM of the Westshore Rebels.